In the Dutch province of Utrecht, you will find the village of Haarzuilens. And nestled among lush greenery in this tiny village, you will come upon a magnificent castle, surrounded by stunning gardens and multiple waterways. Now, if you think this most luxurious castle comes straight out of the medieval era, it seems you're going to have to think again. Because in actuality, it was completed just over a century ago. Otherwise known as the largest castle in the Netherlands, the origins of De Haar Castle can be traced back to the 14th century, when a fortified structure first stood on the site. Originally constructed by the Van der Haar family, the castle remained in their ownership until 1440, when it was passed on to the Van Zuylen family. Sadly, in the years between the late 15th century and the late 19th century, the castle would be destroyed by fire, then rebuilt, and after being almost completely destroyed by the French, it eventually fell into ruins. Hope wouldn't arrive until 1890. When Etienne Gustave Frederick, the third Baron van Zuylen van Nijevelt van der Haar, inherited the ruined castle from his grandfather. Lucky for him, he was married to Baroness Hélène de Rothschild of the Rothschild banking family. You see, Baron Etienne was from an ancient noble Dutch family. Though he was wealthy by most standards, the shares, bonds, and rents he received from his family's estates were far from sufficient to sustain his expensive wishes and sophisticated lifestyle. Determined to restore his family's castle to its former glory, he made excellent use of his wife's access to unlimited Rothschild money. Together, the young couple embarked on a 20-year project, fully financed by the dizzying wealth of the Rothschild family. Needless to say, they spared no expense. As it turns out, the ruins of the original castle were quite ruined. What they thought would be a restoration of an old castle, quickly turned into a rebuilding. In 1892, Baron Etienne enlisted the renowned Dutch architect, Pierre Cuypers, to undertake the ambitious task of rebuilding his dream castle. What Cuypers came up with was beyond his wildest dreams. This same architect was already celebrated for his work on the Amsterdam Centraal Station, as well as the Rijksmuseum. For De Haar Castle, he envisioned a grand luxurious residence that would pay homage to medieval architectural styles from other Dutch castles, while incorporating the most modern of conveniences, such as indoor plumbing, hot and cold running water, central heating, an elevator, electric lighting, and a fabulously modern kitchen with copper pots and pans. It wasn't long before De Haar Castle was internationally recognized as an industrial monument. The reconstruction was a massive undertaking, requiring the entire village of Haarzuilens to be demolished and rebuilt 1 kilometer away. It's unclear whether or not the villagers were equally excited about the upheaval. The one part of the village that remained was its chapel, which was reconstructed into a long and narrow structure, with a raised spire, to compete with the soaring heights of the castle towers. The reconstruction also involved the purchase of 7,000 mature trees, which required several homes in Utrecht to be purchased and demolished for their transport through the city. The result was a breathtaking blend of Gothic revival and Art Nouveau, showcasing an exterior of turrets, drawbridges, towers, and a wide moat, giving it a fairy tale-like appearance. Totaling 200 rooms, the interiors are adorned with richly ornamented wooden carvings, stained glass windows, luxurious furnishings, and decorative artifacts acquired from the Rothschild collections. The couple's eclectic collection of antiques include beautiful old porcelain from Japan and China, an 18th-century Japanese palanquin, old Flemish tapestries, and paintings with religious illustrations. One of the most striking features of De Haar Castle is the sprawling English-style parkland, complete with ponds, fountains, waterways, bridges, and sculptures. Designed by landscape architect Hendrik Corpijn, the stunning French Baroque gardens surround the castle in a harmonious symphony of colors and fragrances, offering a picturesque backdrop to the already enchanting castle. With a shared affinity for masquerade balls, the Baron and Baroness used their brand new castle to entertain Europe's most illustrious guests. Royals, European nobility, and famous celebrities were well known to party at De Haar Castle. Leading very separate lives, and inhabiting several other estates throughout the year, they would always make it a point to host family and friends at the castle during the Christmas holidays, as well as the month of September. Though the castle is now owned by the Kasteel De Haar Foundation, the Van Zuylen van Nijevelt van der Haar family has retained the right to spend every September in the castle, entertaining their prominent guests, as tradition calls. Today, The grounds of Dahar Castle are used as a venue for public events and festivals. It is particularly famous for Elfia, a festival where lovers of fantasy and fairy tales dress in costume for a fantastic weekend. The castle will host this fun-filled event every April. In addition, the first floor of Dahar Castle is also open to the public, allowing visitors to experience its meticulously preserved rooms, lush gardens, and the opulence of a bygone era.